FHA hesitancy is a thing. If you have an FHA loan, sometimes your offer is not going to get accepted, especially if it's up against someone that has something like a conventional loan. I'm going to explain to you why sellers are hesitant to take your offer with an FHA loan. One reason why your FHA loan may deter sellers is because of the Amendatory clause. And in the Amendatory clause, it states if the house doesn't appraise, then you get to walk and get your earnest money back. And we all know the appraisal is long into the buying process, so it could hurt the sellers because if it doesn't appraise, especially in this market where everybody is outbidding one another, going way over listing price, yeah, I mean, why would they pick yours knowing that it's not going to appraise for the offer that you gave, knowing that later in the process, you're just going to be able to walk if you'd like? So that's where that is. Also, again, you get your earnest money back. So the seller doesn't have anything for having that house off the market for that long. Another reason why your FHA loan may deter sellers is because with FHA may come repairs. Something that isn't a big deal to you as an FHA buyer, it is to the loan type. So if maybe a handrail is missing, but you didn't catch that, or maybe there's chipping paint, maybe there's some odor or wet spots on the carpet. Literally, it could be the smallest things, but with an FHA loan, you normally have to go back to the seller and the seller needs to get that fixed prior to closing. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, obviously, we want things to be fixed prior to moving in. But if you have a conventional loan, sometimes you can actually just say, hey, listen, I'll do this. I'll fix this later, and we can move on with this process. And again, you can also negotiate and figure out ways to make the deal strong and get it done with your agent and a lender. So don't be nervous, okay? We'll get it done. Another reason why sellers may not pick your offer as an FHA buyer is because of the appraisal. What do I mean by that? After the appraisal is done, and if you don't like it or it doesn't work out and you walk, that appraisal stays with the home for 120 days. So for 4 months, if another FHA buyer comes, even if that house is worth more that like later on, that appraisal is going to stick with the house. So sometimes sellers are a little nervous, especially in the market that we're in now. Last but not least, FHA buyers sometimes have the stigma. And what am I talking about? Sometimes people think because you're an FHA buyer that you may not have the funds to really buy a house. That is not true. That is so false. But there are some people that think that way. And there are some situations where, let's say you are an FHA buyer and you have all this money saved, but your car breaks down during the process of buying a house and you don't have that saved up. You're using that for the house. So you may have to back out of the house to get your car fixed. And where somebody who's conventional may not have that issue. But again, they could definitely have that issue. So it's really just a stigma. It's something that we want to get away from, but it does happen. These are the reasons why having an FHA loan can hurt you, especially in a seller's market. But there are so many options and ways to go from FHA to conventional. And a lot of the programs that they have right now are with the same interest and also the same money down. So really look at your credit, look at your debt to income ratio, work with your lender and see if you can switch over from FHA to conventional, or maybe waiting a couple months and seeing if you can switch over. Because in a seller's market, we all know the offer and the loan type are key. I'm Corinne Kimball with Growing Homes.